Well, a very good evening from the home address on the 9th of July. Is it the 9th? I don't know, I don't care. Could be the 8th of July. It's Saturday at 7 o'clock. It should have chimed out, but it did chime once, but it should have chimed 7. So I need to attend that, but at least it's ticking away. And it's feeling, well, it's feeling a little bit of comfort that I've approached it and given it some TLC. I've been rather busy. I'm always busy. But anyway, being busy means you don't have to put up with anything else, and particularly anything on the BBC website today, apart from this, which happened to catch my eye. And I thought to myself, what on earth is this? TRNSMT. There's no vowels. It doesn't mean anything. Even on that shite program Countdown, it would not pass for anything. No points. 0 points. Sorry, it's not a word. So what on earth is this? I mean, it's associated with some sort of festival in Scotland. Basically, it's a kind of second-rate tea in the park or something like that. But it doesn't mean it's unpronounceable. It looks like some sort of woke language for trans or something. Is it trans? I don't know. Or is it? Oh yes, I know what it is. It's some sort of abbreviation for some sort of transport. Yeah, train, Scottish maritime transport, possibly. It's someone who can't spell. That's all I can really say. It means absolutely nothing. As I say, it's not even pronounceable. So that's one for the bin. There's not a lot been going on actually. I've been quite busy, as I say, and I'm delighted to have been preoccupied with other matters during this inclement weather. In fact, I met a rather jolly chap this morning when I was out, and I said to him, I was just being courteous and nice, and how are you doing? You all right? I think there's some forecasts of rain. And he says, yes. And he says, my friend told me about the snow up in the Cairngorms. Oh, I says, tell me more, please. He says, you know the Cairngorms? I said, oh, yes. I says, I'm a keen mountaineer. And he said, well, that's exactly what I was. Anyway, it turns out he knows some chap that I know, and I said, well, pass on my regards for you. I'll pass on your regards to him. What a coincidence. But then he was telling me that one of his climbing friends, this chap was 86-year-old. He's 86-year-old, and I thought, I mean, he wasn't even a day over 70. In fact, I've seen some people in their 40s who look older than this chap. And so I started talking about some, and we were able to share quite a lot of really quite nice stories about the bends and glens of Scotland. But he had been a rock climber, and I said, well, do you know this chap? And he says, I do. He was in a mountaineering club with me. And I says, well, I know, I'll pass on, as I say, I'll pass on a message for you. But anyway, I says, tell me more about the snow. He says, well, some of my hill climbing friends, my mountaineering friends, had been up at the Cairngorms and been caught in heavy snow. I said, was it lying snow? He says, oh, it was. It was, they told me it was very bitter winds and very cold temperatures for July. I said, well, thank you very much for telling me. So I got straight back to the Met Office. And so I had been in touch with the Met Office. This happened today, of course, but I was in touch with the Met Office yesterday about their hypocrisy and their unintelligible weather forecasts. They don't seem to know what they're doing. But anyway, they came back quite politely this time. Dear Andrew. Normally they use my surname, but they said, Dear Andrew. I think they're starting to have a chuckle at my correspondence. But so I'm going to lay off them for a while. I don't want to sound like that I'm obsessive about the weather. I only want to bring it to the attention when I know that it's right to do so. So if you take it something every single week to them, they will then get a bit fed up and think, well, he's a bloody nutcase. So I just thought to myself, well, but anyway, I can't help thinking. I said this to you last week about the snowy conditions for Ben Nevis. 7 days ago, didn't I? And the snow would be down to, about 4,000 feet. But from what this chap was telling me, it was obviously down a bit lower than that. In some parts of the Cairngorms. Of course, Ben Macdougal is the second highest mountain in the United Kingdom, so it's certainly well over 4,000 feet. But what was I going to say there? Yeah, I think to myself that this present gloomy spell of showery, wet weather and quite chilly at times for July has lasted longer than the 2-week heat wave that they can't stop talking about for global warming and climate change. So I'm going to send a communique perhaps on Monday to the BBC and say, why haven't you mentioned anything about the terrible conditions in July? I haven't seen any messages regards to the snows on the mountains. Is there any reason for it? Could you kindly get back to me and explain? That's, anyway, I've been doing a lot more than just sort of snivelling around trying to annoy the BBC or the Met Office. I've been very busy. I'm not going to give up too much. I'm certainly not going to give up all my personal information, am I? But I have been particularly busy. But one thing I did catch my mind today. Yes. That's what I was going to get. Hold on a second, please, folks. I found it today. Look, what I found. I don't know if you can see it in the light. No, it's not a Tupperware. It's my original COVID-19 visor. When the reports first surfaced regarding this killer flu that was circulating the planet and was going to kill tens of millions of people, I decided to get myself a visor. So if anyone sneezed or coughed at me, they would have to penetrate this perplex screen. But after 2 days of analysis and a little bit of study, I realised that it wasn't going to kill anyone, not really. And so I decided to put that in the loft where I've retrieved it from. And I didn't even use a mask. Masks weren't compulsory, were they? I did put a scarf on when I was entering the supermarket for any reason, but I thought that was probably the limit of what I did. That was in the very early stages, and then when it became compulsory to wear the mask, I didn't even bother going to the shops. I just went without. But what's come to circulating in the news now is that all this business about that elderly gentleman. I didn't take too much interest in it. I wasn't really. I don't like jumping on the bandwagon when all the stupid people in this country and the mass hysteria. But I think for this chap, Captain Thomas, I think his name was. I think because of his delicate age, you think he was almost 100 years of age or something. And he decided to walk around his garden or something like that. I can't really remember what it was, but to raise funds. And I think at the outset it was a very charming thing for the gentleman to do. And I secretly wished him the best of luck. But of course the media then caught on to it, and then everyone went completely fucking crazy over the whole thing. And instead of raising £1,000 or something, ended up raising £38 million for the NHS. And I think there's a bit of a big question mark how much of that 38 million actually reached the NHS. I think £38 million anyway probably would even cover the consultancy fees for some of these NHS managers for a couple of months in the year. But it's the same old thing. I mean, it's like that children in need, which I cannot stand. I've never liked that bloody thing. How much of the money actually goes to the charity? Probably not a lot. Although they seem to say that it's 100%, and the books are meant to be available for public viewing. But I don't know. I think an awful lot of this money goes in administration, doesn't it? Apparently, there was £162,000 his daughter took. I think it's quite clear with the public accounts that she took £162,000 in some sort of management fees for operating the charity. And I think I recall that something about there was a bit of an uproar as well, because no one was really allowed to travel anywhere, but they got special dispensation to travel over to the Bahamas or something, or Barbados or something like that, and then he caught the dreaded flu when he was there, and the poor chap came back and died. And it was, if you hadn't gone over to the Caribbean, he might have lived to 101 or 110, who knows. But anyway, his legacy was that he had, recorded a song, and a song I bloody well hate anyway. That's probably why I opted out of it. I think it was Jerry and the Pacemakers originally sang it, and I'm sure it was, at least. I can't even bloody remember now. But it was sort of adapted or hijacked, at least, by supporters clubs of two major football teams on both sides of the border here in the UK, and I think that probably most people in the land, when they dashed off to buy this Captain Tom singing along with was it Michael Bublé or was it Michael Ball? I can't fucking remember, but I think they probably never heard the song in their life before anyway, because they probably didn't follow football, see? And so they thought this is a brand new track that had been written by Captain Tom's daughter or something. So anyway, they all bought that single, and apparently hit the top of the charts. But all these kind of crappy type of charity songs always hit the top of the charts. It's I would hate to be a musician or something who'd been struggling for years and years and made a breakthrough just at the same time as one of these bloody charity songs just got released, because there's then no chance. But so I think the thing is that there's been a lot of chat about what has actually happened to all this money. Well, it's the same as, people will now, well, at least I think they will, finally wake up to the idea that it's completely pointless giving money to charity, because its intended cause, generally don't receive the full allocated funds that the public would expect them to get. There's so much creamed off for administration and consultancy, and people volunteer, of course they do, but a lot of people need to be earning a wage. And I heard sometime before, that I'm quite sure I'm right about this, that even the Oxfam, when they have the AGM, I think they don't hold back on, sitting have a fish and chips or something down, some small seaside resort hotel or something. It's they go to the Grosvenor in London or something. The Dorchester, no, it's a Grosvenor, isn't it? And no expense spared for the trustees' AGM or something. And there's so many charities that exist, and they're all just making a lot of money out of being charitable. It's ridiculous. Cancer UK or something, is it Cancer UK? These cancer research, are we any further forward in this cancer research? I don't know. They seem to sell an awful lot of things in their shops, but I've never heard actually anyone saying who works in cancer research shop that we're a couple of £100,000 away from achieving our goal, and that's to find some cure for cancer. I don't understand it all. How much money of this cancer research? Where does it go? And what scientists are sitting using cancer research money? Is there any public information about this sort of stuff? I'm not trying to be awkward here. I'm just stressing a point. It's we need to have research about cancers. Oh, the first thing we should do is stop putting additives in the food. That might help a little bit. And things that they put in soda pop and sweeties and stuff. But what I mean is, most people know what causes cancer anyway. Most cancers are man-made side effects of man-made products, whether it be oil or plastic, plastic is oil. In fact, someone should tell these bloody just for laughs. Is it just for laughs or just for oil protesters that it's just stop oil? Just shut up. Just shut up. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. They seem to think that the only thing that runs on oil is motorised vehicles. They're complete clowns. They really are. And sometimes I question, how did they actually get to the demonstration point in the first place? Did they just flap their arms and start flying and land where they need to protest? How the fuck did they get there? It really annoys me, that. It's not fair, because someone maybe saved over a couple of years to go and watch the tennis tournament, and maybe they've taken their grandmother or something, or their grandpapa. I don't know, but maybe it's been a special occasion to go to Wimbledon. They can't afford the expensive seats that are taken up by all these celebrities and royals and corporate fucking people. So they ended up in the cheap seats, and then they find the day's disrupted by some fucking idiot throwing jigsaw puzzle around the fucking court. And what's he trying to prove? What they should have done is taken that man aside and given him a fucking good beating. Yeah, that's what they should have done. I know they didn't do. Could you imagine someone doing that at a Celtic Rangers game or something in Scotland. Just at the very, it was a Scottish Cup or something. It was down to the last few minutes of the fucking match, with the tensions all, for a goal, and some cunt comes along and starts throwing jigsaw puzzles about. I mean, it wouldn't last 2 fucking minutes. But anyway, I'm not here to promote violence. I'm not like Lorna Slater, who often promotes violence with her speeches. But what I'm talking about today is everything that seems to be good on the surface has always got this dark undercurrent. The first thing I thought to myself was if this old chap raised £38 million, obviously somebody's going to have their greedy paws in the pot. Someone's going to take the cream off the milk. There's no way that 38 million would be like, check NHS, pay 38 million, here you are. And why should they anyway? Why are we paying taxes? What is national insurance for? The national insurance contributions from most people's salaries and wage packets is in order to get treatment from the NHS. So why are we even giving money to the NHS? What are we talking about here? I mean, why did Tony Blair's government take all the artwork off all the hospitals? Why did the Blair people come in where they had spent previously millions of pounds decorating all these hospitals with these abstract paintings, only have them stripped off the walls with Labour administration and sold on? Sort of like Gordon Brown, who sold all the gold in the UK when it was its lowest possible price. I mean, how stupid is that? And this idiots, I really can't stand anyone in any political party currently, and it's probably been like that for some time. I think there is going to be a bit of a radical shake-up, though. I mean, we have the US elections in November 24. I mean, it's not that far away, really. And, I mean, God help us if these lunatics get back in again, these Democrats. The world's gone really, really weird since they came into power. And it's not helped with the lunatics in Hollywood who are singing from the same song sheet, and from all these countries in the EU who are all doing exactly the same thing. I did watch a speech by Marine Le Pen in France just the other night ago, and she was absolutely raging with Macron about what's happened. Absolutely raging. She didn't hold back. Obviously she's speaking in French, but they had subtitles, didn't they? But she was really angry. So I can see a bit of a right-wing swing in the French Republic in the coming months and years, and I can see that happening in America as well. And somehow I can see that happening right across Europe. And I also feel that for the first time in probably several decades, there's been a new switch by the people back towards the religion. They're coming back to the voice of reasoning because they're fed up with all the bullshit lies that are given to them on a daily basis from every other source, at least they got some peace of mind when they sat in the pews of the church and listened to the minister. And even though the message conveyed was never properly understood, it did give them a sense of purpose and well-being that lasted at least another 7 days. And in that 7 days, they felt a lot more wholesome than they have done for quite a long time, listening to lies and finding the money they gave to charity has been fucking squandered or stolen. In fact, that Captain Tom's youngest daughter, and some of the clothes that she's wearing, I mean, I think she was on benefits before. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I think she stayed at the house. I'm not sure entirely, but I'm only saying, well, I'm not saying allegedly. I'm saying it. She's standing around with clothes that there was a jacket. You probably wouldn't get any change out of £800 for the jacket like that. The same sort of fucking style as Thatcher would have worn. So yes, I think they should investigate Captain Tom's 38 million, find out where it all went. Just like they're doing with other political parties and representatives of political parties, plus all that nonsense about you can't visit your granny at Christmas. Well, the fuckers were standing there partying it up, the ones who made the rules. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why people are a bit fed up. And that's what's causing these people to realise it's time to, retreat back to much more formal and much more community-based days. And where the church, or regardless of the religion that you preach, the church had a much more central role in the lives of many people. And it didn't mean it was all hell and damnation if you sinned. But at least it gave you a little bit of thought as to something even fundamental like, am I a man or a woman? Am I a man or am I a woman? I don't know. I better skip down to the doctor and ask him or her. Of course, the doctor could be a she, who used to be a he. I don't know. I mean, it's ludicrous. I find it the whole thing is just gone completely sideways. And I think it's even worse at the fact that they're spending so much money. Like, someone can't get an operation for a hip replacement because someone else is in the bed getting gender mutilation in order to change their sex because some teacher told them at school that they might not be who they meant to be when they were born. Well, hello again. It is the 8th of July, not the 9th. But time's moved on somewhat since I last spoke to you. I've been having fun with the cabbage that I bought Wednesday. I utilise every single leaf out that cabbage. Nothing goes to waste in this house. But I was talking there about, Well, obviously, I was all over the place, wasn't I? Let me get a sip of my tea. It's been a long time since I had a report from the home address. I've still got my old shoes. But anyway, I was thinking about Captain Tom, but my mind, when I was having my dinner, I was thinking about this this point in history, and I thought to myself, I remember, well, I was checking, it was a regional newspaper for this area, Dundee Courier, and they had supplied images and a news report in regards to some lady in East Perthshire, North East Perthshire, who had left her home twice a day, which I think was against the rules anyway at that time. But she was dressed as Her Majesty the Queen, and she was wandering around the streets. And I thought, oh, here we go. Here's the first bloody lunatic out of the crop. It's already started. Anything to get attention. That was my first thoughts about her. But I have no idea if she was, what's happened to that woman. Whether she was genuinely out to just try and raise a smile with the community, or indeed was maybe thinking along the Captain Tom lines by raising money for something, you see. But of course her face obviously didn't fit, and so the media completely dropped it, even regionally and locally. So I've no idea what happened to this lady. And it could have been her that got to number one and got 38 million so that some of our offspring could fiddle about with the funds and buy themselves nice costumes and stuff, you see. But I'm not saying there's any fiddling going on. I'm not suggesting there's any criminality. Kind of like that chap that sold the dud some gowns or something, I think it was. And I think it was £89 million he made and didn't have to pay a penny back. And wasn't during furlough, there was something like 29 billion. Yes, £29 billion were fraudulently obtained during the furlough of employees who are unable to work. And Sunak, the Prime Minister currently, although he's not elected Prime Minister, neither's that clown in Hollywood, he's not elected either. He's only put in office because he's got stupid people in his own party who decided that they should vote him into that position. However, these, what was it, Katie Forbes, was it? I mean, let's not forget, she was responsible for £3,000 million that Sunak gave to her to share amongst the Scottish people during the lockdown, and nobody saw a penny of it. And I think there was something about stories regarding laptops for all children and bicycles for all children, and wasn't it golf clubs or something for all children? But I don't think any of this materialised. I don't know. But anyway, my point being that lockdown was fantastic for lots of people, but devastating for others. And I mean, I'm not suggesting there wasn't any deaths caused by the flu. That's not in question. However, I mean, if I say it's not in question, was it the prime reason for the death, or was it just the fact that they had a heart attack and died of a heart attack, but were discovered to have had COVID-19 as well? I mean, it's all up for speculation, isn't it? It's, oh, you could go on and on. You could digest every single thread from the whole shebang for the last few years, but it just seems, it certainly seems since the Democrats came into power in America, everything has fallen on its face very, very quickly. Conflicts in Eastern Europe, which, I mean, in 2014, no one seemed to be given a toss about the fact that the Russians had regained Crimea. No one really cared a dime. But it's all, yeah, it's all unraveling. It always continues to unravel. And it's one of these situations where you either think about it or you just don't give a toss about any of it. But unfortunately, that's not life, and you have to view everything with elements of suspicion. I mean, so I don't really want to talk about it all, actually. Not really. And no, I mean, not entirely, at least. But I was thinking about this and SMT at the end. I mean, it's just complete lazy. I mean, if you're a child and you've just been given homework, and perhaps it's something to do with Marconi or something, you know, in the late 19th century, and perhaps been down, where was it now? I think it was Bristol Channel, if my memory serves me correctly. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was something, radio waves across to the Welsh counties or something, across from Bristol Channel. I don't know, but anyway, you know, one of the spellings from that, or even if you are one of those lads that got paid a penny a day or something for selling newspapers, and going back to the late 19th century and read all about it, you know, one of these outside train stations or something, and that's Marconi's he wouldn't sell many newspapers, you couldn't even say the bloody word. But of course, because they've dropped the vowels in this, I mean, if, as I say, if you're sitting in a countdown program or something and you're sitting there and you see that flagging up, immediately you're going to ask, well, Carol, I don't need any more consonants. Can you give me a couple of vowels, please? One from the top row, one from the middle row, please. And then you've got a very smug face because you know you're going to get something, and your fellow contestants probably saw the same word. And but the fact they've not got the vowels in this, you know, why doesn't the BBC do a spell check on it at least and try and fucking correct it? And why don't the promoters try and do something proper with it? I mean, you can't even say to someone, to say you decided to go there, and you go like, where are you off to? Where are you heading to? I'm going down to where? And I'm not being, I mean, if I wanted to write to the promoters, hello, 9 o'clock. Thank you very much. It's back in action, my clock. if I wrote to the promoters to complain that my dyslexic son, for example, had great difficulty with the words on his ticket that he'd purchased, could you maybe for next year, for example, spell it correctly? But if I wrote a letter of complaint and I didn't use any vowels in any part of my sentences or words anywhere, whoever got that letter would probably just put it in the bin because they're too lazy to try and work out what it meant. Well, why should everyone else have to try and work out what this fucking thing says? You know, why can't they just use an extra couple of letters? They're trying to save money on the billboards or the advertising by dropping a couple of letters. Take off the two vowels, we'll probably save about 75 grand on advertising. Yeah, drop the two vowels, please. I'm quite sure that's the case. But I've got one for them. That's got no vowels, is it? Yeah. Syzygy. Syzygy. It is a word. I never got it off countdown. It means in conjunction with stuff. It's often used in the astrological world, in conjunction with sun and moon, or planets. Syzygy. I often think about these people who count down contestants. I mean, I talk a lot about these people who've got the minds turned into a strange type of jelly. What kind of lime jelly wobbling about in their brain because they keep watching soaps and television, everything from fucking Neighbours in way back in history to. I mean, you can always tell what soap lots of mothers had been watching at a given time with the fucking kid's name, can't you? Definitely, if it's Jason or Kylie, then you definitely know that they're Neighbours fans, eh? These kids are now in their fucking 30s, feeling really quite embarrassed by their names. Of course, I can't even relate to any of this. I haven't watched any of that shite. I think the last time I watched any soaps with any genuine interest was Crossroads with my grandmother. And probably the last time that happened was about 1977. Meg Richardson and David Hunter and Sandy Richardson. Yes. Ding, 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 ding. In fact, it was just played it was a guitar, yeah. Ding. And it was based in a Birmingham hotel, at least it was the West Midlands. It was a motel, Crossroads Motel. That's probably from that, watching that program probably got me an interest in hotel reception. Yeah, possibly. Who knows? But I quite liked watching Crossroads it was on for 20 minutes, I think, 22 minutes, every night of the fucking week, apart from the weekends. Oh, I think they didn't do it on Friday, Saturday or Sunday, that's correct. But, of course, my grandmother would watch Coronation Street because I think at that time, I think it was Coronation Street was fairly acceptable and jolly. Not fucking trying to sell you left-wing socialist agenda messages with every fucking storyline they have now, I'm sure. But what else are we going to talk about, Annie? I'm sure we didn't tune in to all this stuff about syzygy. Or Marconi's fucking... Oh yeah, the kid is spelt, and you could, if that was the cider or something, and you said, you know, from the education authorities, my son dropped really important marks in his English exam on his his essay about Marconi, 1897, and transmitting the first. Yes, what is it about? What are you talking about? Well, my son lost marks from spelling transmit wrongly. Yes, because he missed out a couple of vowels. No, he was at a concert, just in July, and didn't seem any problem with the promoters spelling things wrong. Countdown contestants is one of my fucking... I mean, I used to think about these people. Because I obviously had probably about a 2-week phase. Yeah, it's what was the program she used to watch? Fucking hell. Countdown, 15 to 1, and some program with Bob Holness. Oh, God. I can't remember the name of the fucking show now. But I can remember 15 to 1. And I can remember this countdown. Excuse me, I need tea. Sorry for coughing. And she, Blockbusters, that was the name of the fucking thing. I hadn't looked it up, I sat for a moment there thinking I knew it would come back. Blockbusters with Bob Holness. It was alright, but I, unlike her, who would watch it every fucking day, I just watched it for a couple of shows and thought, I've reached my tolerance level on this crap, I'm not watching it anymore. But the countdown contestants, in my opinion, were sort of people who, I think they're pretty dull individuals in real life. I think that when they came on the show, they always looked so matter-of-fact kind of individuals, you know, the sort of people that really smug and always right. I always think of them at a sort of a pub quiz night, and yeah, just thinking, you know, sitting at the table and question masters like the quiz master shouts, what was the former name of the Russian city of St. Petersburg? A smug asshole would say, "Oh, it's Odessa. It's definitely Odessa." And each friend, you know, Frank or something would say, "Oh, Roger, are you sure? I don't think it's Odessa. Take it from me. I know it's Odessa." And there's a bit of a conversation with the other people in the quiz, because none of them fucking know. And then it's like, all right, okay, Roger, we'll go with that. Yeah, all right, yeah. Are you confident it's Odessa? The quizmaster would shout over, "Have to push you guys. What's your answer?" And it's Odessa. I'm sorry, you're wrong. It's Leningrad. And you can just imagine him fucking thumping the fucking table with total anger and rage. And he's, the top of the beer all fucking about like that. He's thumped the table and he's really beetroot red, humiliated sort of look about him in front of the rest of the quiz teams. He goes home and takes it out to his wife and everything. Real bitter man. Well, that's what I think about these countdown contestants. I just think that they all fit in that sort of same category. Anyway, I think I better get some of this switched off and maybe loaded. I don't know. That clock's as happy as anything. It says, "Thank you, Andy, for bringing me back to life. I was getting all stagnant and sleepy in the corner on the mantelpiece. I'm glad to see it all back to normal, Andy." Also very glad to see my rugs back to normal. Absolutely spotless. You really are. They're really lovely. Yes. Anyway, it's been another busy day for me. I think I'll go and read a book. I think I will. I think I've got a couple of books I want to read. Where's the focus gone on this camera, Andy? What's happening, sir?